Hi, this is Marek from Solo. Today I'd like to show you a small card game called Card Tactics. It's an independent game. I was given a review copy from the author, Gui. I hope I didn't mispronounce his name. And by independent, I mean that this game is created on a platform called Game Crafter, where game designers can create, produce their own games. And it's different to Kickstarter, where you have, to produce 1,000 copies in China. On Game Crafter, you can create just a few copies or as many as you want. You just have to upload your files and your, card design and everything, and they will produce the physical games for you, and then you can send them. You can sell them through their website or on your own. It's up to you. Card Tactics is available there. I will post a link to this game in the description of this video. Okay, but what Card Tactics is about? It's a fantasy game, a solo-only game, so it's perfect for for my channel because right now you can only play it solo. And the story in this game is not a very complicated one. You have a dragon that came to land, and the dragon wants to destroy everything, and you play as brave heroes who want to defeat the dragon, but it's not an easy task. You have to defeat different enemies and bosses on the way in order to defeat the final boss, that is the dragon. The name Card Tactics is not just a name, because this game is very tactical. Because at the start of the game you choose your heroes, then you create the enemy deck. The enemy deck is always different, because you randomly pick some enemies and bosses to create the enemy deck. And the game is very tactical, because you have your heroes, and they have they are standing in a row, and they have different positions. And then you have enemies that stand in front of you, and they also are standing in a row, and they have their own positions. So you have 3 enemies and 3 heroes, and depending of the position of the enemy and the hero, you can use different abilities, different weapons, and you can shoot arrows if you stand on the back, but you can only fight your sword if you are standing in the first line of the fight. So this is cool, because this is not like a game where you play your cards and you play your heroes and you play the enemies and everyone is fighting everyone. Here it all depends where is everyone positioned in the combat area. So this is really cool, and this is a really fun, clever idea, because you have to plan everything, and you can pull enemies to the front, you can push enemies to the back, and the enemies can do the same. And it's really nice. And I know that the author of this game is also working on some alternative ways to play it. He works on a choose your own adventure addition to this game. So you'll have more story, where you can pick different options in the story, but then you will play, and fight using a Card Tactics box and Card Tactics cards. He also wants to create an arena mode, where player can fight other player. So probably 2 people having their own copy of the game can fight not with the dragon, but they can fight with each other. So it's cool, PvP. I will show you how the game plays. We will play together maybe a round or 2 after the unboxing, so you will have an idea how the game plays like. So let's unbox the game now. Okay, so this is my playmat. I think it fits the theme of the game. This is Card Tactics. The box is small, and inside you can find 2 dice that you will use for attacking. If you attack an enemy or an enemy attacks you, you have to roll the dice and check if you manage to have more points than your opponent's defense. And here we have the cards. Let me show you the cards. You have heroes, you have events, you have items, and you have different enemies. So let me show you the heroes first. You have an alchemist, pyromancer, druid, guardian, lancer, and ranger, and you choose three heroes every time you play the game, and they will be your, you know, team of all-stars to defeat the dragon. If all the heroes die in a fight, you lose the game, and if you defeat the dragon, you win the game. So the rules are quite simple, and they have different, you know, different abilities. This is an ability that can be used during the, you know, whole combat, and these are different, like attack abilities. Like he has life transfusion and sticky grenade, and you can use them depending on your position in the combat area and depending of your plan. And here we have the events, and events are, you know, shuffled, and every round of the game you uncover one event, and sometimes they are good, sometimes you like, okay, this is trapped chest, but you can gain some treasure. Sometimes they are bad for you, like trapped path or surprised, or you can meet a merchant. So they are like random events that you can encounter on your way to fight the dragon. Here we have the items. They are divided into common items, rare items, and unique items. You can get different items after winning a combat with a fight with your enemies. If you fought the boss, you have a chance to get unique items, and if you fought normal opponents, you get common and rare items. And there are a lot of them. Sometimes you get weapons, sometimes you have like winged boots, book of magic, and, you know, dragon shield. Some items are one use only, like tight jewels, discard this item after use. Some you can use, this item can be used once per round, so bloody axe, you can use this weapon every round of your combat. And there are a lot of them. Some will help you defeat your enemies, some will restore your health. Sometimes you have an option to bring back a defeated ally during the combat, so this is like a resurrection. This is cool. You even have a dog that, you know, can help you fight with the enemies, so this is really cool. And I have to say, I like the art of this game. It's really nicely drawn. You know, it's a, you can say, typical fantasy style of game, but really nice. So this is the item deck, and this is the enemy deck. And okay, here we have unique bosses, rare bosses. So here are the enemies, and here are the bosses. So we have different enemies, like, you know, this is always, there is the life points of the enemy and the defense value of your enemy. But they have a lot of abilities, a lot of different attacks. Like, you know, this giant spider, he uses bite when he's on the first or second position on the, you know, in the battle area, or he uses a web when he's on third position. So depending on the position of the enemy, they use different attack. And as I said, you have common, rare, and unique enemies, and you create the enemy deck according to the rulebook. So every time you play the game, you will encounter different enemies in different order. And the last thing here is the boss deck. This is the dragon, the final one that you have to defeat to win the game. He's got 10 health, you know, 6 shield, so he's a tough guy. You have a troll, dryad, you know, mandragora, gorgon, bandit leader. So as you see, the common bosses are weaker than the final and unique boss. And what I like about this game is that it's easy to add more content, because, you know, the author of this game can release an expansion with more bosses or more equipment or more enemies or more heroes, and using the same combat system and the same game system, you can add more and more content to this game. So this is really really cool. Here we have different tokens, and I will show you the tokens here. You have, you know, life points, bleed tokens, tokens that will add defense to your character or remove defense. This will add combat value to your attack or remove combat value. So this is cool. You know, the token for the dog that you can find in the equipment deck. So here we have a lot of tokens, and the last thing in the box is the rulebook. The rulebook is very condensed. You have a lot of text inside, only, you know, 10 pages and game summary at the back. But to be honest, the game is not that complicated. After you read the rulebook, you should be, you know, able to play the game without any problems. Everything is described. The only thing maybe I wish are some examples that could be added here, you know, to help you understand some specific mechanism of the game. But in general, it's not very complicated. So let me set up the game for you, and I will show you how to play Card Tactics. Okay, so this is how Card Tactics looks when it's set up for playing. You have your common items, rare items, unique items. Here's the event deck, your enemy deck, and your discard pile. Here you have your 3 heroes that you have chosen before playing the game, and you start with 2 items. You pick 3 and you have to discard one of them. I choose to keep like, you know, healing potion and greatsword that can help me attack, and healing potion is good because it can restore health to my heroes. The enemy deck is constructed as the rulebook say. You have 5 common enemies, then you have common boss, then you have 5 rare enemies, you have rare boss, 2 unique enemies, unique boss, and 3 unique enemies. And you have to create this deck. So the longer you play, the more difficult enemies you will get. And this is how the combat area looks like. This is exactly here. You have 3rd position, 2nd position, and 3rd position of your heroes. So you can imagine that this hero is on the back and this one is on the front of the, you know, battle line. The first thing that you do when you when a round starts is camp phase. And in camp phase, you can reorder your heroes, you can use some equipment, you can change position before the next combat. The next thing that you have to do is you have to draw an event, and the event for the first round is river crossing. Crossing a strong current of water, drenched all clothing and provisions. Heroes cannot use items in the first round of combat. Okay, so now we know that we cannot use our items on the first round of combat. This is not the worst event in the world. There are even worse events here that are more complicated and, you know, annoying. And then after the event phase is a combat phase. You have to take 3 cards from the enemy deck, and you have to organize them like this. 1st position, 2nd position, and 3rd position. After you do it, you have to put life points on the enemies. This one has 3 life points, this one has 2 life points, and the wolf has 3 life points as well. So this is how it looks like. And this is the combat area. Your heroes, you have to defeat these enemies. If you defeat these 3 enemies, then you will have the treasure stage, where you can get items for, you know, winning the combat. If all your heroes lose all the health, you lose the game. So this is how it looks like. And how the fight works. First are the heroes, always. Maybe there are some events that change it, but normally your heroes start, and you start with the farthest hero from the center. So for us, this is a ranger. He will attack first, then there is enemy turn, and the farthest away from the middle enemy attacks. So this will be the wolf, then there will be the alchemist, then the bandit, then the lancer, and then the orc. So you start from the farthest position from the center and you move to the center. So let's take a look at our ranger, and we have two options. This ability you can use during the combat round. Once per action when making an attack roll, ranger can re-roll 1 dice. And we can use long shot, and every attack tells you the distance that you can use the attack against. Like this tells 4 to 5. So you calculate distance by counting the spaces to the enemy you want to fight. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this enemy is on the 5th position from the ranger, this one is on the 4th position, and this one is on the 3rd position. So we can use a long shot against wolf and bandit, or we can use tactical advantage against the orc. You have different icons, I will not explain them, you have all the icons in the rulebook, but basically this tells you that you can attack the enemy, and here you can attack the enemy, but also you can add 1 attack token to one of your allies, so they will have, bigger chance to succeed with their attack in the following turn. But let's say that we want to use a long shot against, for example, the wolf. So we have to roll 2 dice, let's do it, and we have 6. And now we have to check the enemy card, and this is the wolf, and he's got 6 defense. So our attack was successful, because using the dice or any modifiers from some tokens or cards or equipment and so on, you can alter the result. But normally you have to roll the dice and check the result. So it's 6. It means that we successfully hit the wolf. So we take 1 life point away from the wolf. If we succeed a critical hit, we will damage the wolf for 2. And critical hit means that we have to roll at least double his defense. So in this case, we would have to roll 12. Or have 12 with the modifiers here. With bandit, for example, he's got a defense of 5, so we will have to roll 10, 11 or 12. And now the wolf attacks. And for the enemies we have to check the position. He uses trip. If he's on the 1st or 2nd position, he's not. And on the 3rd position he uses surround. So he uses this attack. And this is attack, he attacks the farthest hero. So he's rolling the dice and adds 1. So let's see if he hits our ranger, because he's farthest away. Okay, it's 10 plus 1, it's 11. Our ranger defense is 6. So he scored a hit, not a critical one, because for a critical one he'll have to score 12. But he damaged our ranger for 1. After the ranger attacked, you should rotate the card to, mark that this hero attacked. The wolf attacked as well. So now is the next hero, alchemist. Because we have this event that we cannot use items on the first round, the round will end when all the heroes and all the enemies attack. We cannot use the items, but normally when this is a hero's turn, he can either use one of these abilities to, let's say, to attack the enemy, or he can use an item. So this is either attack or use an item. You cannot do both. Sometimes items are used for attack, like this great sword. When you attack with the great sword, it will be easier to get attacked by the enemy next turn, but it will be easier for you to hit your enemy. So you can use this item for attack. But for example, if you would like to use healing potion, it will restore 3 health for you. but you will not be able to attack this turn. So now let's say we use our alchemist, and he's got life transformation, but the range of this ability is 1. We cannot hit any enemy with it, but we have sticky grenade with the range of 2. Sticky grenade, I have to roll the dice and then subtract 1, but I will hit this enemy and the enemy behind it. So let's try it. It's 3. He's got 5, he's got 5, I didn't hit it, so my attack was unsuccessful. Now we have the bandit. Again, we have to check the position. Smoke screen, disruption. On the first or second position, he was on the second position. He uses smoke screen, so he will add counter token. And counter token means that when we attack the bandit, he will hit us back with the same power as we hit him. So he doesn't really attack, but he will attack us if we attack him. Now we have the Lancer. I will use his launch attack. If we hit critical, so if we roll more than 9, so 10, 11 or 12, we will also hit the enemy behind this one. So let's try. It's 7. Sadly, it's not a critical hit, but I will take 1 damage life point from the orc. And now the orc attacks. He uses chop, first or second position. He attacks +1 closest hero. Okay, so let's try it. It's 2, +1 it's 3, but our defense is 6, so he didn't attack us. Now the round ends. We will have to untap all the heroes and enemies, and we continue the fight. And we fight as long as all the heroes are defeated, then we lose the game, or the enemies are defeated, then we win. Then we will get items, then we will have the camp phase, then the event phase, then we'll draw new enemies, and so on, until we encounter the dragon. If we defeat the dragon and all the enemies that are together with him on the battle area, we will win the game. It's not easy, I can already tell you. I tried to defeat the dragon, I didn't succeed. The other enemies and bosses are manageable, but the dragon is really hard, especially that he summons more and more enemies, so it's not easy. But the game is really fun. I like the idea that the position on the battle area is important, because like this guy, the alchemist, for example, he cannot use life transfusion if he's on the first position. But also, okay, I forgot to tell you, some abilities have this boot icon, and this means that before or after this attack you can move or change position. So if I used sticky grenade in the previous round, I could have changed position with the Lancer. So you have to plan and to, you know, think of a best strategy, where to position your heroes, how to, you know, pull, push, or which enemy to attack in order to win the combat. So this is card tactics. I will put links to the game in the description of the video, to the website and to GameCrafter, and visit me on Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter. I will put the links also in the description of the video. Thank you for watching. If you like it, leave thumbs up, and see you next time. Bye bye.